Bet on Bears fans, the Friday edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat the Designer, Jason McKie back in the building. J Mack, we may have no linebackers. We got a lot to talk about going into this game. Does anybody? We may need you to play, J Mack. We may need you to put a helmet
They ain't
on.
played linebacker since high school.
Hey, bro, you might
You don't want me to play.
We might have to see out there.
You don't want me to play.
Talk about what this Steelers team is going to bring, previewing the game. J Mack, of course, has seen some of the tape, and the analysis is going to be top notch. And of course, as every week brings us a phenomenal time, and last week's were spot on. The McKies to the game. All that more in today's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. This episode brought to you by Underdog. Make picks, win money. J Mack, unfortunately, a little bit less busy weekend for you. How you been holding up after the tough loss that you guys went through and getting ready for next season?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's had time to set in. So good season. Nevertheless, obviously you want to end holding up a state championship trophy, but it is what it is. Great season, great seniors.
Most important part, how many seniors you sent into college this year?
Yeah, we got it. Some are still determining right now, so it'll start getting busy. Coaches coming in, evaluating our guys. So it's a good thing. Overall, it's a good season. And then right after the holidays, you start back with the offseason. So the cycle just repeats itself,
Get yourself right back in.
Get right back in. The good thing is I still get my football fix with the Bears, so I'm excited about this game this weekend, Pat.
Little 8-3.
Huh?
I said little 8-3. We got to get there.
Yeah,
we got to get there.
This is going to be. Yeah, you can end up how we finished if they win this weekend.
Hey, listen. Don't get me tinkly. Let's jump into this game. There's good and bad. We don't know what the designation on Jalen Johnson is going to be yet. He has been designated to return, but they can open that window up, or they could activate him at any time. But at a minimum, yesterday he was a full go in practice. Very excited to hear that. Grady Jarrett yet again was a full go. He got a DNP yesterday. Rest. I really like how Ben Johnson is handling the older players with no bye week. You got to find ways to get him some rest. Kevin Byard rest yesterday. He was a full go yesterday. Darnell Wright was limited. Jaquan Brisker, I'm sorry, I skipped that one, was a full go. He was DNP on Wednesday. Darnell was limited. Tyreek was limited. Kyler Gordon was limited, which is good with that calf injury to see him getting back out there. Drew Dahlman limited, Theo Benedette limited, and then Joe Tooney got rest. Because of the age there. Noah Sewell was DNP for the second day in a row. Tough time. This is where it starts to get ugly. TJ Edwards was DNP for the second day in a row. Tremaine Edmonds, DNP for the second day in a row. Travis Homer ended up getting bumped down to DNP. Roshan Johnson, DNP with a thumb. And did I miss anybody? DeAndre Swift was a full go. I want to make sure we got that one in there as well with that hip injury that he's been dealing with for a few weeks here. Hip and groin have really been bothering him this season. So good to see him getting a full go there at practice. But J Mack, I think the eyes immediately go to the defensive side. You get a little bit of good news with Jalen Johnson and Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon. But I ain't never seen a game where you go into it and you don't really have linebackers that are available to play there, J Mack.
Yeah, let's hope that those designations change today. Obviously, we usually get the designation either sometimes during the pod
or right after.
right after. Because, you're going to need those guys. You're going to need Noah. We don't know obviously the status of TJ dealing with that hand and that hamstring, and then Tremaine Edmonds popping up on there as well. And you need those guys, especially against the Steelers team who's, offensively, who struggled in the run game. They have Jaylen Warren and Kevin Gainwell, two running backs that are very capable, and they've got a buffet of good tight ends. We're talking about John Smith, Pat Fryermuth, and then the big guy Darnell Washington, who's pretty much a tackle with elite athleticism.
Did you see that on the St. Browns podcast, bro? 311.
Yeah.
6'7", 311. That's terrifying.
But did you see him just run through literally just the Cincinnati Bengals, 3 defenders. I mean, they all made business decisions, right? They ran up and said, okay, nope, I'm going to move out of the way. I need to play next week or play the remainder of the season. That's called a business decision. And that's what a big guy like that, if you try to, hit him up top, well, guess what's going to happen? A business decision will be made. If not, you're going to be on his highlight. So that's a guy you got to really, what we used to call when you're making a tackle be shoelace high. You need to make sure you're attacking them shoelaces because when he gets low and you get low, good luck.
Listen, I think this is the tight ends are gonna be a massive part of this. We're still waiting on designation from the Steelers here on whether Aaron Rodgers is going to play or not. But I mean, right now it does feel like at a certain point, listen, we kind of had this conversation last week. We always say next man up. You want to see next man up, but at a certain point, next man up, there's a gap in the talent. There's the reason that you're not the top man, why you are the next man up. And we're at the next man on the next man at this point. Pause. But I just a little confused. That was a little crazy. But to me, right, when I look at some of the injuries there, I do wonder, how Dennis Allen is going to call this. Are you going to go with a guy like Eamon Ogbongbemiga in that spot? Is this the Ruben Hippolyte game where he gets his biggest opportunity, but we haven't seen him get out there as of yet, maybe because of the numbers game. I think there's a lot of different defenses that Dennis Allen could call that could circumvent this, but it's not going to be the same as if you got Tremaine and TJ out there, and it doesn't seem like we're trending towards them getting back out there. Now, TJ, if Tremaine today got limited, I would think there's a possibility that he could play. But with TJ on a hamstring, if you're not getting reps throughout the week, I would assume we're probably expecting him to be out there.
Yeah, and for me, if anything, looking at it, I would, I just have I think we're going to be fine. I think Tremaine will be out there. Honestly, hopefully TJ will handle it. I don't see that big game like this. I feel like guys are going to be out there. You know what I mean? So we'll see how the injury designation takes place. And one of the guys who we still don't have an update on is, like you talking about on the Steelers side, is Aaron Rodgers. And been trying to find clues. I went back and I actually watched Mike Tomlin's press conferences. If you haven't seen a Mike Tomlin press conference, make sure you get your popcorn. That dude is amazing. If you're a reporter, he makes reporters afraid to ask questions because he is stern, but he's so informative. He's so smart. And he was talking about Aaron Rodgers, the risks. He was obviously saying that the main thing is, them finding a way, if they can, to brace it up and to see if he can, because Aaron said there was no pain, but making sure that he can brace it up, which means, being able to handle a snap and all of those things. So, my gut tells me Aaron's going to play.
I would assume so as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to play. And like you talked about, Pat, huge drop off between obviously Aaron and Mason Rudolph, but Mason Rudolph is a quarterback that has started a lot of games, and Mike Tomlin said they have all the confidence in the world in Mason Rudolph if he does start this game. So at the end of the day, Dennis Allen and those guys, they're going to prepare. Yes, it's different. You're facing a different quarterback from Aaron to Mason, but the preparation still has to be on an elite level, regardless of who's taking snaps from under center.
Your roof's got more layers than a conspiracy podcast.
Is that a sandwich wrapper?
Ah, yes. Vintage 1988. It really builds character.
Avondale Roofing. Inspect smarter, dig deeper, and get to the core of your roof's health.
And you can't sleep on it. I mean, listen, we had this week, right, where, or not this week, this year, I should say, where, me and you were here on a Friday, like, listen, if you can avoid Lamar, because the drop-off between Lamar and Tyler Huntley, very, very vast difference. And I'm not saying it's not, but it didn't look like it on the field that day because I don't know if the preparation was different. I don't know what went into that. The offensive line had gotten itself back healthy a little bit, and on top of that, the defense that basically has come back to form in full fashion was ready to go there. I don't think that this is that same situation here this week, but I do think it's a situation where if you're not ready for the other guy, right, you know how you prepare for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
To me, I would say prepare for Aaron Rodgers no matter what, and if you over-prepare, you're not in a bad situation with Mason Rudolph.
Well, here's the thing. Look at what Houston did to the Bills last night. Davis Mills comes in. And that's the thing, here's the thing, right? You can never, like I always say, these guys are the best in the world. And just because there's a guy on the roster that hasn't had a lot of opportunities, doesn't mean he's a bum, right? It just means you got a Hall of Famer in front of you, in Aaron Rodgers. In Mason Rudolph's case, he's had a couple guys that have come in and the Steelers have put in front of him. But when he has a lot of starts under his belt as well for the Steelers. So with him, it's like the game, he's not going to be like a deer in headlights. It's like the first time taking an NFL snap and seeing the defense and seeing the complexity of an NFL defense. And And he's a guy who's going to get under center, knows the system. He's been around it. He's been around this team. He understands the weapons he has around him. A guy that can go out there and make plays. So, like you said, Pat, regardless of who's under center, your preparation this week better be at an elite level if you want to get that 8th win.
And that is the one thing, J Mack, I've said coming into this game, the consistency for me, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the running backs, whether it's the defensive line, it doesn't matter where we've been banged up. The consistency has been in this coaching staff, their preparation of the team and getting them out there ready for a game. You can't sleep on a guy like Mason Rudolph, and guess what? Dennis Allen knows that, and Ben Johnson knows that. Mason Rudolph in his career, 13-9-1, including his backup appearances. That tells you that's a quarterback that can do enough to get you a win. Is every win going to be pretty? No. But if you don't put up enough points, he can. And so my hope is coming into this game that we do see the offense find a way to bounce back. And I think you're going to need an offense that kind of can pick up where the defense is lacking a little bit, no matter what, right? If and unfortunately, we've been on the receiving end of this too often in our lives here in Chicago, but I love Nashawn Wright. I love Tyreek Stevenson. Do I think that they're good enough to slow down Aaron Rodgers? Probably not. Even at 41, I think that Aaron Rodgers knows how to pick his spots and pick you apart, and you can't gamble on a guy like Aaron Rodgers. That's, to me, where Nashawn Wright has been at his best this season. You can't get blown by the way that Tyreek Stevenson has if you're covering DK Metcalf, because Aaron Rodgers don't miss those opportunities. I get it. When he's getting mobile, he looks 41. But he don't always got to be that mobile, and he's still elusive enough to get out of some of those sacks, very similar to what we've seen quarterbacks do versus Bears defense all year.
The arm don't look 41.
So no, but we have not talked about the fact that he threw it 70 yards easily enough this season.
With Aaron Rodgers, what you get a quarterback that's cerebral, that understands the complexities of defenses, that has seen pretty much everything that you can throw at him, that has a quick release, that throws with anticipation, accuracy, can put that ball in a lot of spots that a lot of quarterbacks in this league or whoever played in this league at quarterback can't do. That's what makes Aaron Rodgers so elite and so effective. So it's him having, does he have the greatest weapons around him? I'm not going to say that, but he can beat you in a variety of ways. And I think defensively, you make a mistake, he's going to make you pay for it. And, that's the thing when you have, guys like Tyreek and Nashawn Wright, and we don't know the status of Jalen Johnson for this game. And you've got a defense that plays a lot of man coverage. Aaron's going to find that mismatch, and he's going to pick and stick and find, the mismatch. He's going to put that ball to where his receiver has a greater chance of coming down with it. So, I think, you say let's pressure Rodgers, but he gets that ball out so fast, he limits the amount of time you have to get there. So you really got to be on your P's and Q's in terms of coverage. Now, here's the thing. With their lack of a run game, they have to rely more on the pass. So making them one-dimensional could be a key to this matchup. But when you make them one-dimensional in the pass game, you got to make sure that, coverage-wise, that everybody understands their responsibilities, because when you have an elite veteran quarterback like Aaron, he's going to make you pay for mistakes that you may have.
Yeah, listen, I think it was after your time here, but I remember a game where going into it, I believe it was Trestman. It might have been Lovey, but I believe it was Trestman. But he said, we're going to make sure that we make Aaron Rodgers, this Green Bay Packer team, one-dimensional. We're going to stop the run. And guess what? They definitely stopped the run. I think Aaron almost threw for 400 yards that day. You know what I mean?
He was throwing that thing on Michigan Avenue.
So, and I get it. Very different quarterback, but still one that I think you do have to worry about. And again, we're talking about it in the sense of Aaron Rodgers playing. If he doesn't play, Mason Rudolph has tools that can beat you as well. So I really want to see this defense find a way to step up yet again. Doesn't mean you have to be elite. I think it means continue doing what you've been doing, because we have not been great versus the pass. We have not been great versus the run, but we have created opportunities and taken those chances when they have come our way. And I think that's going to be very big for this team here. You did mention one thing where we do got to point to it, J Mack, and listen, with all the tight ends that they have out there, I would think that Arthur Smith includes some of this in the game plan, maybe for the first time this year. They have not run the football well. And so it is kind of an ability to make them a little bit more one-dimensional. What do we need to see this Bears team do defensively to take advantage of a bad run game?
Yeah, it's just, continue to be assertive in the run game. Like we talked about in terms of coverage, when you're defending the pass game, defending the run, it's all about being in the right gap, understanding, making sure you take the right leverage, making sure you're tackling, getting that ball carrier on the ground. But then, like Coach Dennis Allen says, by populating the football, I love when he uses that term, getting all 11 to the football. That's the main thing when defending the run. So it's just making sure that you have good gap integrity, because most times these big explosive runs, they're generated by guys being in the wrong gap. You have two guys in the B gap and bam, you know what I'm saying? That ball hits out in the C gap and now you got an explosive run. So it's just being on your details in terms of your preparation and in the run game, and then making sure you fundamentally tackle that ball carrier.
The strength of this team clearly is the defensive side of the ball, right? Like it hasn't been a great defense, but it is still one where I think the last couple of weeks, right? People are going to look at the season numbers. I think when you watch the tape on the last couple of weeks, they've really started to figure some things out defensively, kind of starting a little bit. I know it got ugly versus the Packers, but really you've seen a little bit more of an uptick since that Colts game in there. When you watch this team and a TJ Watt who has not had a great season, but is starting to figure some things out, like I said, defensively, everybody always says you run the ball at him. You want to stop a great passer, run the ball at him. Run the ball. What does that mean? Explain to the people out there what goes into run the ball at him to neutralize a great pass rusher to help this Bears offense.
Yeah, a lot of times you have a great pass rusher. You run the ball at him to wear him down, right, to physically pound on him. But at the same time, there's little things you can do, like you can trap him, right, where you can, give him different looks. You can wham him, bring somebody in from the outside and block him, wham, block him, make him look and block him inside. Just give him a bunch of different looks, a lot of different things to look at, and take steam off that pass rush so that way he's just not pinning his ears back and rushing the passer. So running at him is just basically trying to beat him down physically. But at the same time, I think we look at his defense. This defense is way more than just TJ Watt, in my opinion. You got a dog in Cam Hayward. You got Keanu Benton playing that nose. And it's a complex defense. It's a 3-4 scheme, which you got three dogs. You got three down linemen that nose. Keanu Benton's got to be a beast. And then you've got your four linebackers who are especially your edge guys, which is mainly TJ and then Alex Highsmith. Those are the guys that put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, along with Nick Herbig, who's leading this team in sacks. So it's, I think everybody's going to be involved in protection, from the offensive line, from the tight ends to the backs. And what they'll try to do is, like we talked about each and every week, defensively, that defensive coordinator is going to try to find a way to get his guys one-on-one matchups. And if you, like, for instance, if you have one of them outside linebackers, on a running back, and DeAndre Swift or Kyle Monangai coming off the edge, that's tough. That's a mismatch, because that hybrid linebacker, he's really a DN and a linebacker in a 3-4 scheme. So it's going to be tough for this Bears offense and pass protection. I think it's going to be a physical battle, and that's one of the matchups that I'm really looking forward to, in this game is, not just our offensive line versus their defensive front on both sides. I'm looking at their offensive line versus our defensive front as well. So I think, watching this game on Sunday, if you're a Bears fan, get your popcorn ready and really tune into the trenches, because this is where this game is going to be won, because there's so many great people, great players on both sides of the ball in the trenches. And I think this is where the game is going to be won.
Yeah, listen, J Mack, I was getting ready to go there as well. Like, we don't talk enough about the O-line, and it almost feels like we don't have a confidence yet, because we haven't had a great O-line for a long time, right? Pretty much since y'all were on the field. With Olin and them is kind of like the last great O-line that was here in Chicago. Right now, this Bears team is second in yards before contact and carry. They're fourth in run block win rate. They're second in pass block win rate. If you want to go off of PFF grades, I always say pair those PFF numbers up with what you're seeing on the field. And I think we are seeing this on the field. Drew Dolman is third among centers right now. Darnell Wright is third among right tackles. Joe Tooney is seventh among left guards. Jonah Jackson is 10th among right guards.
But
your left tackle spot get a little ugly.
Here's the thing, though.
He's improving. This
is the thing, right? With all the numbers, right? And it's up until now, right? But throw all that shit out the window this week, right? And I say that to say this. You look at boxing. Styles make fights, right? Matchups makes games, right? Matchups is going to determine the outcome of a game. And you're looking at these matchups. TJ Watt mostly lines up over the right tackle. So you got a matchup with TJ versus Darnell Wright.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've got Keanu Benton versus Drew Dalman, right? Not only Keanu Benton versus Drew Dalman, he's the nose. So it's Dalman, it's Jackson, it's Tooney, depending on where he's going to slant, what they do. Right. I mean, you've got a lot of – you got playmakers at linebacker. Patrick Queen, super athletic. Peyton Wilson, super athletic, can make plays. So this is going to be, all those numbers are good, but you're facing a front, just like you did with the Giants, and you had some success there. But I think this front is, in my opinion, more physical than what we see in that Giants defense. For that Giants, their edge rushers, right, they were able to – I would say they could beat you in a variety of ways rushing the passer, but it was more of a finesse rush. You know what I mean? They're more of just using their speed to get off the ball.
Right.
These guys, they have elite get off, but they also have physicality, and they're rugged, they're gritty. And when you look at the sack totals, this team is third in terms of sacks in the NFL with 33. It's not just TJ Watt getting those sacks. It's Nick Herbig. It's Keanu Benton from the nose. He's got 4.5 sacks from the nose. I mean, it's guys getting to the quarterback relentlessly. So, in terms of your pass protection, you're going to have to be relentless. And like we just talked about, slowing down that pass rush is getting that run game revved up with physicality, like we've seen from these Bears since the bye week.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. The last couple of weeks to me, J Mack, have really prepared this team. I know there was no Jonathan Grenard in the last week, which makes a big difference. But that Packers, how they blitz, the Vikings, how they blitz, how they get after you. You know what I mean? I think that the O-line performed incredibly well in those moments. I think that what you saw versus the Giants was a team that performed incredibly well in those moments. And it feels like it's a team that is prepared for once for this. And I think it does go back to, the one number that I love, like you said, you can throw most of the numbers out there. The Bears' interior offensive line has played 676 of 680 snaps together. That's 99.4% of the snaps together. You're seeing a team that knows where each other are. You're seeing a team that knows, okay, this is where Drew's going to step here. Bet I need to make this move. Up, he's a little bit out of position.
Yeah,
this is where I need to adjust that.
And that's a great point right there, Pat. Now, that's a number that really means something, right? Because that number, what does that number say? It says continuity, right? Yeah. Something that we haven't seen here in the past with the Bears' offensive line. Last year, we saw a goddamn carousel of offensive linemen running out there.
What did we have, 36 combinations by the end of the season?
They even tried to call me to come out there and play online. I called up Olin Cruz and said, brother, they're calling me. I need you. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, hell, they had everybody playing offensive line to pass for you. Not just last year, year before that. I mean, it's been a carousel.
Yeah.
So like you talked about, when you have that continuity, right, you have that cohesiveness as a unit, it makes things easier. And like you said, I understand – Drew Dalman understands, right, if there's a combination block, if they're running a gap scheme and there's a combination block where they need to get to the second level, I have a feel for what Jonah Jackson's going to do. I know how much help he's going to give me. Same thing on the other side, Joe Tooney. I have a feel for Joe Tooney. I know how much help he's going to give me. I know Joe Tooney's going to get to that second level if that run concept calls for him to get to the second level, right? But also in pass protection, same thing with those guards, right? Joe Tooney understands he's got a feel for Theo Bennett in protection. And on the other side, Darnell Wright has a feel for Jonah Jackson in pass protection. And when you have that cohesiveness and that chemistry as a unit, well, you get a good product. And that's why we're seeing the Bears run the ball so effectively. And we've seen the amount of sacks come down dramatically from last year because you have one unit all on the same page. So what does that mean? The communication is effective. There's an understanding of pass protection. And what happens? That sack number comes down.
And J Mack, I think you got to talk about the complementary football all the way around, right? When it is, Drew Dalman's out of position and somebody got through. Caleb Williams' escapability has been beautiful this year, getting away from, arguably the best in football at being able to escape. When you look at even in the run game, J Mack, like there's a couple times where you were pointing out plays to me and you were like, Darnell can't get to his second level block here, but it doesn't matter because Swifty makes this guy miss. And now all of a sudden he's got an opportunity to get to the second level and have green grass to run. Like you're seeing complementary football where when one unit on this offense misses something or doesn't do something perfect, there's another player or a teammate in there that's picking up that slack and turning it into something.
Yeah. And I think with this team, especially in the run game, so we're talking run game. The great equalizer in the run game is physicality.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be times in which there's going to be confusion in terms of what front you're blocking. And there's going to be times where your rules don't apply to the front that you're blocking in terms of the run play call. But what is the equalizer? Physicality. So, hey, you know what? I may be blocking the wrong guy, but I'm going to drive him into the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's football. I think physicality overcomes a lot of mistakes. And, you know, you see an offensive line that's physical. You see an offensive line that has an attitude in the run game. You see guys finishing blocks downfield. I can't talk about how many times I've seen Jonah Jackson, you know, displace his defender 5 yards vertically off the football. Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, all these guys, Darnell Wright, we see it every single week.
Yeah.
So you see a unit that's in the run game really controlling the line of scrimmage. And I like what Ben Johnson said a couple of weeks ago. He said, you know, most coaches watch the coach's copy, the coach's tape, where you're watching the end zone view, you're watching the back end, so you can see how everything works on the interior. But he said he watches the sideline view, right, or the broadcast view, the side what you see on TV, to see how much displacement is going on the line of scrimmage, whether that's on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, which is awesome. Because on that side view, you can see, one, is everybody getting off the ball at the same time? And are we gaining an advantage in terms of controlling the line of scrimmage because we're coming off the ball and that line of scrimmage is being displaced, which is awesome. And that's what we're seeing from this Bears offensive line.
Listen, we know the Eagles offensive line coach ain't watching that tape because those false starts are prevalent, even though they're not getting called. That's called championship privilege, J Mack. That's a little championship. We're trying to get some of that. We're trying to get where you just be like, did the ref call it? Then it ain't a foul. Then it ain't no penalty. Ain't no
right.
Looking ahead, we got to keep this thing going along here. We got to get to our McKees to a game as well. But first, we got to finish off our underdog play here. Right now, we got Monangai higher than a touchdown, than 0.5 on a touchdown. So an anytime touchdown. Got Colston Loveland, same thing there. I went yesterday, Caleb Williams, 221.5. I went lower on that. Not to say Caleb's going to have a bad day, but I do think this is going to be a day where your run game is going to ball out and have a real opportunity here to, as you said, J Mack, wear TJ Watt down. What are you feeling in this game here? You like a little tight end play? You like a little running back play? What are you liking in this game here?
Yeah, I think I forgot what I had picked before the show.
So Jalen West, all right. That's all right. Cut. And Jalen Warren, rush plus receiving 76.5, lower.
Yeah, I'm going to go for that. I think Jalen Warren, he didn't finish the second half of last week's game. They brought in the rookie, Caleb. I think Caleb Johnson's a rookie. Not his second year from Iowa. But they brought him in, and it was mainly him and Kenneth Gainwell the second half. But even before then, this is a team that I think they're averaging 88 yards rushing per game. So when they like to throw the ball to the backs, it's been majority Kenneth Gainwell. He had 2 receiving touchdowns last week against the Bengals as well. So I'm going to go lower than that rushing and receiving total for Jalen Warren. I like Jalen Warren. Has the productivity been there this year? Not really. But he's capable of having a breakout game. But I think that number is going to be lower this week because I think the Bears' run defense will sure up against a guy like Jalen Warren, and I think he's not going to get those targets in the passing game. I think those targets is going to go to Kenneth Gainwell in the passing game in terms of running backs being targeted. So I'm going lower with that number total.
Let's hope you're right, J Mack, because I'll be honest with you. I think that if you can keep the running backs from getting heavily involved in this game, it does make that's another blow for this team because, like you said, they have gotten the running backs involved in the passing game a ton. And I think you saw it last night. Listen, like one-dimensional, not to say that you can ever forget about the other side of it, but early on in that game when the Houston offense was essentially, we just got to hand this ball off and run. All of a sudden, the run game stopped, and now Davis Mills woke up. I don't know what the heck that was. I ain't seen Davis Mills do that in a long time. But, no, you created opportunities for yourself where it was like, yeah, we can pin our ears back and try to get to the running back because we know he's not throwing the football very well. So hopefully we see a little bit of that here with the Bears this week. Make sure that you guys tune in to Underdog. Download the app today. Sign up with the promo code CBP to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5 bet. That's promo code CBP. Underdog, make picks, win money. EOQ, the disclaimer. Must be 18 years or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or over in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Welcome back into the Chicago Bears podcast. Path the designer Jason McKie here on another phenomenal football Friday. We got a chance to go 8-3. J Mack, I'm excited.
Man, we're getting close.
We right there. Let's find a way to get there. Let's find a way to get there. No, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Right.
Oh, but I'm excited. I feel like this it feels like an advantage Bears week. Let's hope so. Chicago Bears podcast. Chicago Bears podcast is brought to you by the Advantage Dealer Group. Find your next Chevy, Toyota, or Acura and drive off in under 60 minutes, or they'll make your first car payment. Also brought to you by the Hard Rock Casino in Northern Indiana. Las Vegas style game in just 30 minutes from Soldier Field. Exit 6 right off I-80-94. I'm sorry, J Mack, you were saying?
Oh, no, I was saying for the Bears fans, this is going to be a playoff environment at Soldier Field. I'm so excited for this game. I'm mad it's only Friday. I wish it was Sunday, but guess what? Get your popcorn ready, Bears fans. Butter, popcorn, no butter, a little caramel, a little cheese mix, Garrett's, whatever you want. Get your popcorn ready because this is going to be a great matchup for the Bears and for the fans to see it at Soldier Field. And I'll be right there, so I'm excited too. I might even get me a helmet. I might steal me a helmet and get out there and run one play and then come off and realize that's why I'm retired after I get my my tail kicked out there. But it's going to be exciting, man. I'm really looking forward to this matchup. I think it's like I talked about it earlier in the pod, in the trenches is going to be must-see TV, and we're in for a treat, Chicago.
Yeah. No, that's where I think this game is going to be the most exciting. I think Olin tweeted it out out like all of the matchups that are going to happen this week, and I instantly was just like, oh, this is going. It's going to feel like I don't know how to say it, like old school football, but I mean, like you can't kill nobody like the quarterbacks you could back in the day. But like it's gonna have that feel of like ground and pound, ugly football, going to war in the trenches. And those games to me, like it's like a pitcher's duel in baseball. Everybody don't like those games, but those are the games that to me are the most football. It's like that's war. Like what we saw last night when it was just like, dang, he lit him up again. Dang, why he get hit over there? Those are the best games, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think this is, everybody's the narrative, right? What's the narrative? Are the Bears good? Are they a playoff team? They haven't beaten nobody with a winning record. This is an opportunity to play somebody with a winning record and beat them at home. And like my boy Terrence Crawford says, right? What are they going to say after what are you going to say after I beat you? You know what I mean? Like that's what he told Canelo Alvarez. So I haven't beat nobody. I haven't fought nobody. What are they going to say after I beat you? What are they going to say after I beat you?
Hey, they're going to say exactly what they said about every team we beat. We said this versus the Cowboys. We said this about beating the Commanders. Hey, all of a sudden they was bums. Every time the Bears beat a team, they bums.
And here's the thing too, like, and a lot of, and it's true. Some players don't listen to the media, don't hear the narratives. And there's a lot of players that do. You know what I mean? And it can be disturbing. Oh, you haven't played nobody. You're not as good as you are. And the good thing is, some players like to listen to the media and the narratives because they need that for extra fuel and motivation. Not that you don't have enough because you're playing an elite game at the highest level, but any extra added motivation, any other fuel you can put in that gas tank to get you ready to go out there, and really, hone in on your game and have a good performance. You're going to utilize it. So I'm real excited at this opportunity that the Bears have, and another opportunity to get out there and get another win, especially in front of the home fans. I mean, it's going to be awesome.
Well, and J Mack, I think, listen, if you're paying too much attention to it, I think this, right? If you're paying too much attention, like we always say, to the attaboys, and you're paying too much attention to this guy sucks, that's when it becomes a problem. But Ben Johnson ain't shying away from, he came into the season. He said, what do they say about the Chicago Bears? When the pressure is highest in the fourth quarter, you're not going to get it done. We've changed that narrative. Like Ben Johnson is paying attention to the press clippings and what's being said about his team. And he's telling the team, this is what they think of you. What are you going to do about it? But they're responding in a different way because he's also taking them out there and putting them in a position to do something about it.
Yeah, and he's not going to let the attaboys and the good jobs and the pats on the back really, deter this team away from the preparation needed to go out there and be a playoff team, or to be a team that wants to get in the playoffs, or to perform well each and every week. And even after the game last week, they won, but Ben Johnson in the locker room and walking in the locker room, he looked like they lost the game. He was pissed.
Yeah.
Like, he was pissed. You know what I'm saying? And
Caleb too. I'm watching Caleb walk off the field. I'm like, he is not happy.
He was not happy because that's the game that, they almost let slip away. And, it's going back to the fact that when you're playing good football and you have a chance to really put away an opponent, the Bears have not done so and have had to come back in games and win games, which is good. That shows another side of a team, but we haven't seen a team that's had that killer instinct, so to say, with this team. It's something that you're going to have when you're playing some of the elite teams. You have a chance to put an elite team away, well, then you're going to have the killer instinct to put them away. And that's one trait that we have not seen with this Bears team throughout this season so far. And I think that's what Ben wants to see.
When you've got it going offensively, how do you lose it? Like what happens when you're on the field where, like, because we've seen you guys be a part of games where you're dominating, and all of a sudden it's like you're not scoring as much anymore. It's not getting as easy. You say what?
It's the rhythm. Your rhythm's off. Like, you're a false start penalty here, a drop here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody a missed assignment here. Your rhythm gets off. And when things are clicking, you're in rhythm. Guys are executing together at a high level. Then that offense is moving. That offense is churning up yards and generating points. But when you have a mishap here, like I said, all those things that can hinder an offense, which is all things that you as a player, but not just you as an offense can control, well, then you lose rhythm, and now you see the inconsistency within that offense, and that's what we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen that too often this year. I mean, it hasn't been as bad with the pre-snap penalties over the last couple of weeks. We've seen a couple of them pop up again. What happened in that? What happened in those practices?
What have we seen though, Pat? Like we've seen, and I know people tried to crucify me earlier when I talked about the drops the Bears have had. They've had 17 this year. They had 20 all of last year. And yes, I'm not saying that to throw Caleb Williams an olive branch. Caleb is going to be harder on himself than anybody. He's the first person to tell you.
He's a part of it. He's a part.
Overthrows, the timing. He's the first person to say that. He takes it on the chin. I've got to be better. That's the first thing he says each and every week, and he does. And it's him, it's Caleb, it's the receivers coming down with the football. It's Caleb making the right read, putting the right touch on that football, and really, making sure the timing is right. That's why we haven't seen, the connection in the deep ball. It's everybody. So those are all the things that things they got to clean up, and you're always going to have things to clean up. But I think those are the things that is going to take this offense to another level, because they're doing a lot of great things we haven't seen here in Chicago for a long time. Now, the extra added dimension to this offense is when you start hitting them deep balls, when you start generating those deep explosive plays in the vertical passing game, that's when you have an offense. And that's going to come. I think that's going to come. Hopefully 100%. It comes on Sunday.
Through 11 weeks right now, Caleb is ranking 24th in deep ball passing completion percentage at 34.9%. 15 for 43. He's just above Spencer Rattler, just above Jaden Daniels. Drake May is dominating right now in that in that department at 55%. He's 22 for 40 on those. And Caleb said it in the game the other day, like after the game the other day, the DJ Moore miss. He said, "Listen, I got to take that. I'm trying to rush the play because there's a hit about to come towards me. Yeah. I just got to take that on the chin, take that shot, and throw the football up there." Yeah. Now, easier said than done, right? Like his brain, he's an escape artist. His natural ability is, let me get out of here. But what I think you're seeing is when you rush the play, you can't rush the play for the receiver. The receiver can't just all of a sudden speed up the play. You have to be on time, and it's about being, having that perfect timing. And I know it sounds tough to say, J Mack, but the guys on the defensive side of the ball get paid a lot of money to make sure you don't catch the ball. So it may sound like an excuse, but like being in there on a blitz at the right time, that's going to change how the outcome of a play may end up happening. Great coverage going to change how the outcome of a play may end up happening. It's not to like you said, throw them an olive branch or anything. I think some of the drops are inexcusable. I think some of the bullets that Caleb has thrown in very close quarters, and we talked about that on the pod, are inexcusable. But those are things that, like you said, timing takes time. That time is going to come. Hopefully it is this Sunday. Would love to see it be this Sunday.
Yeah, I hope so. I think, I think it's it's always all 11 doing their job. And, the offensive line has just as much emphasis on the passing game as anything, right? The protection, giving him time, allowing him to set his feet, allowing him to get his depth, his proper drop, to get at the right depth, to make sure he's at the right depth, to make sure that he's in connection with the receiver in terms of how deep that route that receiver is running, and then him getting the ball off at the proper time with accuracy or anticipation, whatever that route calls for him to do, and whatever type of throw he needs to make. So it's everything collectively, all 11 doing their job, making things work.
J Mack getting hit right now by that time of year. That's what's happening right now. A little bit of that lung butter coming through. That's okay. That was me. First question to Ben Johnson. Little lung butter got in there. How do you man, you got to fight back. That's all good. He playing hurt.
We're back.
And we back. Let's get into what makes every Friday podcast great. Our McKees to the game. Every week, Jason McKie gives us his key plays to a Chicago Bears victory. J Mack, what are this week's McKees to a game?
Yeah, I'm going to start out on the offensive side of the ball, Pat, and I'm going to say take a shot. Not take a shot, because the Bears not take a not a tequila, not a JMO, not a tequila, not a gin, whatever you drink. I'm saying, and not take a shot because all these Bear games have been close and it's been a roller coaster ride. Don't take a shot for that. Take a shot with a deep ball, right? Because you're facing the Steelers defense that's giving up the most yards passing per game at 261. Yeah. 261. So, hey, we talked about it, getting on the same page, Caleb, with your receivers, right? Receivers coming down with the football, offensive line working collectively, giving your quarterback enough time to get that ball in the air vertically and create those deep passing explosives that we're looking for. Well, this is an opportunistic time for this offense to take that next step in generating explosive plays in the vertical passing game. So take a shot, right? Take a shot at tequila as well if you want, but that's what I mean by take a shot. Go ahead, Pat, it's Friday. Happy hours early. All right, next one, an efficient run game, right? Talk about an efficient run game to ease that pass rush. We know they got we know TJ Watt, right? He's the guy. He's the bell cow. He's the mark man. Yeah. He's the guy, but they have a lot of guys. Keanu Benton playing nose. He's got 4.5 sacks. A bunch of different guys on that defensive front that can get to the quarterback. Nick Herbert leads the team in sacks. Yeah. You got Cam Hayward, who's a dog as well. Highsmith is a dog. So beyond run the football at them guys, but also make sure you're on your P's and Q's in terms of pass protection, like we talked about in terms of when you want to push that ball down the field. Defensive side of the ball for the Bears, right? Steelers team that averages 88 yards rushing per game. Trash juice, Pat. Trash juice. It ain't trash. It's the juice on the bottom of the trash. You're below the trash.
Yeah,
the residue in the trash. You know what I mean? When you got in the summertime, you got to spray with the hose because it's got your whole garage stinking. Yes, trash juice, the Steelers run game. But here's the thing. Doesn't matter. Stop the run. Any team's capable of getting their run game generated in any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever day you're playing. Stop the run. Jaylen Warren, they want to get him the ball. He's their lead bell cow. Kenneth Gainwell will be sprinkled in, and Caleb Johnson, the guy out of Iowa, will be sprinkled in a little bit. Doesn't matter who has the ball. Make sure you have good gap integrity. Make sure you're populating the football like Dennis Allen talks about each and every press conference, right? And then, hey, take away the playmakers. DK Metcalf, Kenneth Gainwell in the passing game. He's the running back that they target in the passing game a lot. And Calvin Austin. Those are their playmakers. Take away those guys. However you're going to take them away, take them away. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's playing at quarterback, whether it's Aaron, whether it's Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. It don't matter, Pat. It does not matter. It's all about us. Everybody doing their 111, doing their job, and the Bears will come out victorious and get that ace win. That's the keys to the game.
We need to see this Bears team come out of this thing 8-3 because you got a Philly team coming up next that is going to be a problem.
On Black Friday.
No, Black Friday, dog. We're going to be working on Black Friday.
I'm gonna be back in Philly though. I'm gonna be back in Philadelphia.
Hey, but I'm gonna need you to bring me back 2 beefs. I need one from not a beef.
You said a beef? What you talking about? Cheesesteak. Don't do us like that.
Relax.
Come on, son.
Let it breathe. I mean, he's bringing back 2 cheesesteaks because they say it's the 2 spots that got it. One from Pat's.
No,
Pat?
don't do that. Don't
do that. What's the
those
move?
Those are the Geno's and Pat's. No disrespect. Those are the touristy spots.
Oh, they not.
You gotta go to the mom and pops, hole in the walls to get the real Philly cheesesteak. Come on, Pat. Come on, man.
I ain't never been to Philly.
Man, you the tourist.
Listen, we gotta take a trip to Philly.
Well, I'm gonna bring him back. It's gonna be in my carry-on.
We need to do a Chicago in the carry-on is nuts. We need to do a Chicago Bears podcast, Philly trip, where I go down there and I eat cheesesteaks. That's the only thing I want to do. I can come back right after. It could be a 2-day trip. We don't need to be there long.
I'm gonna have mine on the sideline during the game. Hey, man, let's go down. Hold on, guys. Let me get this cheesesteak.
J Mack, what do you like in this run game?
Hey, provolone. I like this cheesesteak. Provolone, mushroom, onions. You know what I'm talking about? Little mayo.
We got a spot to do it decent by us called Authentic Cheesesteak. I might be going there right after this. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Big bed downs to you guys out there. As always, for Jason McKie, it is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Let's get a dub. 8-3, baby, on the horizon. Hold on to the first in the North.
Peace. Been a long time.
Been so long.